It was supposed to be a normal family dinner. Candles flickered on the table. The aroma of roasted meat and freshly baked bread filled the air, and everyone seemed to be in their usual cheerful moods. Or at least I thought so. Halfway through the meal, the air shifted. My wife, normally quiet and reserved in front of her family, leaned back in her chair with a smug expression. I felt a chill crawl down my spine. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice dripping with amusement. I looked at her, puzzled. "What is it?" She smirked, her eyes gleaming with a strange satisfaction. "I've been seeing someone at work," she said casually, as if announcing the weather. "I need a real man, not an impotent one." The words hit me like a thunderclap. My hands clenched under the table. The room went silent for a moment, as if even the walls were holding their breath. Then her sisters laughed, cruel and knowing, nodding in agreement, as though they had been waiting for this confession. I could feel my heart pounding, my pulse rising. Every instinct in me screamed, every memory of our life together flashing before my eyes. But instead of anger, instead of yelling, I smiled. Slowly, deliberately, a calm that belied the storm inside me. "Excuse me," I said quietly, sliding my chair back. I reached into my pocket, took out my keys, and without another word, I walked out the door. The night air hit me like a shock, bracing and real. I drove in silence, letting the city lights blur past me, each passing street a reminder that life had just shifted irreversibly. I didn't call anyone. I didn't try to explain. I didn't argue. I simply left. The next morning, I woke with a sense of clarity I hadn't felt in months. I had made a choice the night before, a choice to take control of my own life rather than let bitterness consume me. I didn't need to beg, to plead, or to explain myself. I needed freedom, dignity, and a path forward. I spent the morning quietly packing essentials, leaving behind everything that tied me to that life. As I did, I thought about all the years invested, the memories made, the trust given, and how it had been shattered so casually. But anger, I realized, was wasted energy. Instead, I felt a quiet determination. By mid-morning, I had made plans. I contacted a few old friends who I knew could help me start fresh. I booked a small apartment in a part of the city I had always loved but never considered living in. I called my bank to secure my accounts. I began to build a safety net, not out of fear, but out of resolve. Over the next few weeks, the news of our separation spread quietly through her family and friends. They assumed I would be devastated, that I would fight, beg, or try to salvage something that no longer existed. Instead, I smiled, continued with my work, and focused on my own growth. I bought a car I'd always wanted, a small but comfortable home, and reconnected with passions I had long neglected, writing, running, and learning new skills. Then came the day she tried to reach me. The text popped up on my phone. "Jason, we need to talk. I made a mistake." I read it, felt a pang of old emotion, and then put the phone down. Mistake or not, the trust was gone. Apologies could not rebuild what had been destroyed. Months later, I met someone new. Not someone I needed to validate myself, not someone to fill a void, but someone who shared my values, my ambitions, and my sense of loyalty. Slowly, carefully, I allowed myself to trust again. And each time I thought about my ex-wife, I didn't feel pain, but a quiet satisfaction that I had chosen myself first. Her sisters never saw the change in me, the quiet power that comes from self-respect and resilience. My ex-wife's office lover? Irrelevant. What mattered was that I had walked away with my dignity intact, refusing to let betrayal define me. 5 years later, I look back on that night, the smirk, the cruel words, the laughter, and I realized it was a turning point. It was a moment I stopped being defined by someone else's choices and began defining my own life. The storm had hit, yes, but I had weathered it. And in the aftermath, I had become stronger, wiser, and more in control than I had ever been. Walking away had been the hardest and the best decision I had ever made. And as I stand here today, successful, happy, and independent, I know one truth. No betrayal, no insult, no cruelty can take away the life you choose to build for yourself.